Welcome, everyone, to a special edition of the Signals from Mars live stream on a Monday. I am joined here by Marion from the band, and I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Is it Aephanemer?
Yep, you're doing very well.
Right. I was wondering because you guys are a French band, so I wasn't sure if I needed to pronounce the H's or not.
Yeah, that's almost that, quite. In fact, you have to pronounce it like in French because it's like the merge of two French words. So it would be it should be Aephanemer, but Aephanemer is really great.
I wasn't sure, and since
Yeah, it's really quite that.
I haven't done my Duolingo in French in a long time, I wasn't sure if I was doing it.
Oh.
So, awesome. So you guys just released A Dream of Wilderness, and this is album number 3 for the band. Going into the album, was there something special or different that you wanted to do that maybe you hadn't done on the previous 2 albums?
Not really. I mean, the third album, as you mentioned, is really important because I think it's the album where the sound of the band is really reaching its true. The band is reaching its true sound. I mean, so with this album, we wanted to really play the music we wanted to create. So we reinforced the elements of our music, like the symphonic parts, the classical influences, some melodic black metal influences, but the sound of the band is quite the same, just reinforced, I think.
Okay.
So it was really our intention. It was to really reach the sound we wanted to create.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And France, like a lot of other parts of the world, were in lockdown last year, and parts of this year. But how much did that affect the songwriting for this album? Did it affect you guys in the sense that you took more time to maybe write and record the album, or was everything ready before the lockdown started to affect you guys?
It did not really affect the songwriting because we started to write the songs at the beginning of the pandemic. So it was quite, it did not affect our planning. We wrote the album during the pandemic, during the lockdowns, and the only thing that did not go as we wanted was the release of the album. We had to push the release of a few months because there were problems to print vinyls and CDs, and so there was delays with the label, and so we had to push the release of a few months. But other than that, everything went as we thought it would be.
Okay, cool. In the press release, it says that you guys mix Scandinavian death metal and Slavic traditional music, and I was curious as to where the Slavic influence comes from. Is it from one of the band members? Is that maybe their family background, or is it a kind of music that you guys listened to that influenced you to write this way?
Yes, in fact, in the band, our lead guitarist, Martin, which is the founder of the band, writes all the music. So the influences are his influences mainly. And for the Slavic traditional music, it doesn't come from his family. It's just that he loves traditional music, and particularly Russian music,
Mhm.
also Scandinavian traditional music, and it's just his tastes, and so he found inspiration in that kind of music, like Russian Sovietic marches, that sort of things. It's really a melodic music, highly melodic music.
Cool. Okay. And obviously, or not obviously, but when reading the information regarding the album, one thing really jumped out at me was the name Dan Sueno, who's obviously someone who's very well known in the death metal community, has a lot to do with
Yeah.
Scandinavian death metal. So, how important was it for you guys to work with him on the album?
Yeah, as you said, Dan Suano is just a legend for us in Europe and in all over the world. He mixed so much albums that are so much important for us. So we decided to contact him to mix the album. He mixed the previous album also.
Okay.
And he accepted. He mixed many albums. Is very productive. He mixed many little bands, great bands, many bands. So it was really important for us to work with him because he's so good. He's really good at mixing, and you can hear every instrument, every part of the music.
Mhm.
Is really, really talented because he mixed so much albums. And also is very easy to work with, is so nice, so cool, is awesome.
Do you ever reach out to somebody like that to maybe listen to your music in the demo stage to get some opinions and seeing if you're on the right path, or maybe if there's something that they can help you with guiding the music?
Not really, not at all. But because I mean, writing music is something so subjective. It's very personal, so it's really hard to take feedbacks from other people. But with Dan Swano, he gave us feedbacks on the sound, on the mix, on the way we might record the instruments, and many things that helped us a lot to improve our sound. And that part is really relevant because it's so good at mixing. Is so to the part of the sound and the mix, the recording. We took his opinion, but not on the compositions.
Okay. And you guys recorded the album yourselves and produced it yourselves, because it doesn't state any of that information in the press releases that I received.
We recorded the vocals in the studio. Some
Okay.
parts were recorded, like the vocals were recorded in a studio. Some of the parts, like the guitars, were recorded at home. And we sent everything to Dan Swano for the mixing. And after that, to Mika Jusila at Tinvox Studio for the mastering.
Mm-hmm. Who's also mixed thousands of records. I was looking him up and I was like, wow, this is incredible.
Yeah, you're right.
um, Obviously, you guys being from France, the most known French band at the moment is Gojira.
Yeah.
There are other bands that are known. Like I've known for years about Dagobah because they've played close to where I live. Alcest is another band.
Yeah.
Hangman's Choir is another one that's getting a lot of press now because they're about to release an album. Even going all the way back to the 80s, there's a band called Trust, which wrote the song Antisocial that Anthrax has covered. And
Oh, you know them. I didn't know they were famous in other countries. They were very famous in France, but yeah.
Yeah, well, they're an interesting band because Nico McBrain of Iron Maiden played for them before he was actually in Iron
Yeah,
Maiden. So
you're right.
they influenced indirectly a lot of different things. But for you guys, what's the French metal scene like? I mean, you guys are from Toulouse. Is there a scene in Toulouse? Do you have to go to another city that you consider more of a home base for the band, or do you get over better in certain parts of the country than anywhere else?
Oh yeah, there's definitely a great scene in Toulouse and in France in general, a metal scene. I mean, but the thing is, in France, you mentioned Gojira, and in France we have many extreme metal bands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like black metal bands and death metal bands. There's many of them. So the scene in France is very extreme, and maybe it's the reason because there is not much big bands in France. There's Gojira, of course, obviously. Alcest is also a great band, great. They make great music, and they're a big band also. But yeah, except from them, there's not much big bands. And this is because the metal scene in France is so extreme. For us, with our music, which is very symphonic and highly melodic, there's not much bands like us. There are some, but not much. So it's not complicated to play in our city. Also, Toulouse is a big city. It's not complicated to play, but it's complicated to make to find bands to play with that are the same style or similar style.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I'm actually in the north of Spain, so it's similar in my region. Of most of the bands here are pagan death metal bands, or things of that nature. So other bands that maybe play other styles, or even if I go to say Bilbao and see thrash bands, a lot of the bands that are opening up for them are death metal bands or are black metal bands. So I've never honestly seen a full bill that's just thrash, for example, or something like that.
Yeah. In Spain, I think that this is the opposite of France. There is many melodic bands. I thought.
Depends the area where you're in. Since where I am in the
Okay.
north is a very small region, there's very few
Yeah.
places to play, and also it's not a rock based area overall. It's
Okay.
unfortunate there aren't a lot of rock bands that have come out of here that are known. So the more extreme you go, the less of I have a friend who's a doctor actually and has a great band which is a post metal band,
Yeah.
and he had his music played on a famous radio show here because one of the co-hosts was the drummer of the band, and the first thing they did was I don't want to say make fun of the music, but it shocked everybody because a doctor singing that way. He's singing like the singer of Converge, for example. So it was something that was it's something that's out of the ordinary for a lot of bands here, and a lot of bands here have to go other places to be known, unfortunately, in the country.
Yeah, I understand.
And
Very interesting.
and there are some Spanish bands. There's which I feel, for example, there's a band like Angelus Apatrida, Angelus Apatrida, it would be pronounced in Spanish. Century Media, who's very well known here, but
Yeah.
because they're very well known, there's also a lot of people that speak against them because they don't want to accept that they're on the same level as other bands. It's very weird. I feel that they're more popular in
Oh.
other countries of Europe than they are here. So
Yeah. It's I perfectly understand. I think that our music is much more listened in other countries than in
Right,
France.
right,
So I can understand, but it's because of the scene that is so much extreme. So it's hard. Yeah, the people, the metalheads are at the image of the scene,
hmm
so it's a bit complicated
right.
sometimes.
What do you consider the capital of metal in France?
That's really a difficult question. It's really difficult because Gojira and Alceste, they're from the south of France,
Right.
from little cities. Um, in Paris, there is, of course, obviously many bands, but I think that there is many metal bands in all the cities of France.
Okay.
It's really difficult. There is not in every city there is a scene where with many bands.
Mhm.
It's I don't know, but it would be Paris, I think. But
Yeah.
it's not really accurate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, by the number of bands here, for example, I would have to say Madrid as well. So, I mean,
Mm,
bigger city, more bands.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. For you as an artist growing up, who was the first French band that caught your uh, that I don't want to say influenced you, but really made you realize, oh wow, we can do this here in France.
It's not very original, but it would definitely be Gojira. I think it's Gojira. It's so much a reference here. Many people know them. Many people that are not into metal as well. They reached so much popularity, and they proved that it's possible for a French band. As I said, there is so much bands in France and so much really talented bands, but not much big bands like in other countries, like in Germany, like in United Kingdom, like in Scandinavia, and even in Spain and in Italy, there is big bands, and in France, not so much.
Mhm.
So Gojira is really an inspiration for every metal band in France. They proved it's possible.
Right. Yeah, that was one of my questions from one of my followers on Patreon. He said, we hear about Gojira and we hear about how there are scenes in other countries, but we don't really know about a French metal scene. So it was
Yeah.
one of his questions, what's kind of the band that influences a
Mm.
lot of people. So it makes sense what you're saying.
Yeah,
Um,
we have a great black metal scene, post metal scene, post black metal scene,
mhm,
technical death bands. There are many bands of many styles, but mostly extreme bands.
yeah,
But there are various bands of every style, of course.
right. Yeah. Um, what was the inspiration for you to pick up the guitar and to begin to sing?
Yeah, uh, yeah, definitely. It's Amon Amarth. Yeah, I really. Like 15 years ago, I was really into that band. I really loved the music, and they inspired me to learn to play guitar and to learn extreme vocals also, to to create a band, to play their songs, and that was how I started. But of course, Angela Gosso is of course also a great inspiration for me. I started singing, um, practicing extreme vocals by practicing her songs with Aephanemer, of course.
Right.
So,
Did you ever try any other vocal styles before, or was just guttural extreme vocals the only thing that really interested you?
no, I really wanted to do to growl, to do extreme vocals. it was what I was into, and I am still now. I think it will always be my main style vocals, because I just love that extreme vocal so much. I extended my vocal range to the screams and all after that, but it's really extreme vocals. It's what interests me the most. Even if of course, I learned to sing in clean, because you have to learn the basics of singing for doing extreme vocals. You have to know how to sing, of course.
Right. As far as singing with the band, you knew right when you joined the band that you were going to have to sing, or was that a process that while you guys were feeling one another out, you just became the vocalist?
Back in the days, the band started with Martin, our lead guitarist, which founded the band as a solo project, an instrumental solo project, in fact. And after that, he started to search for other musicians to play live and to have a true band, a real band. And when what's the word? I postulated, candidated to the band.
Right. When you were
I applied. Yes.
Okay.
I applied to play in the band. He was searching for a singer, but I noticed that there was not a rhythm guitarist also, and I was playing guitar and also sing, and I was also singing. So I said that I applied as a singer, and when he picked me as a singer, I asked for play the guitar also, because I wanted to play also the guitar, but I didn't know if it would be possible. But it was my thing. I want to sing and also to play. So that's the story. Long story short.
Yeah, no problem. Just want to say a quick hello to Brad and Rob, who are in the chat joining us today, watching this live. As far as your gear, I noticed that you play a Solar guitar in one of the latest videos.
Yes.
What made you choose to play a Solar? Is there anything specific about the guitar that speaks to you more than maybe other guitars you've played in the past?
Yeah, before I was playing for many years an LTD Explorer 400, and yeah, I was really in love with that body style of guitar, the Explorer one. I think it comes from Aephanemer, I think, but I don't know, maybe James Hetfield. I don't remember. I'm just really into that body style. And but my LTD was really old, and it didn't sound very well. So I decided to pick up a new guitar, and a Solar was my choice was a Solar because they have Explorer guitars like my own guitar, and they sound really good for a very affordable price, in fact. So it's really good guitars for a really affordable price, and it's really great. I recommend them.
Okay. Does it weigh about the same as the LTD?
Sorry?
Does it weigh about the same as the LTD?
This is I don't sorry. This is
weight, kilos.
The weight. Okay. Yeah. Is it heavier? Okay. No, it's quite the same. Maybe a little less heavy than the LTD. So it's better.
Okay.
And it's really and also the balance is really better. The LTD was really heel balanced. The solar is really well balanced, so it's awesome. It's really an improvement, a great improvement.
So that's interesting because I know the bottom that sticks out is slightly in a different spot than your traditional Explorer body. I mean, obviously they have to differ from the Gibson body for legal reasons, but I always found it interesting that the way that Ola designed it, it really is in a different spot than the LTDs or Ibanez or other bodies that are similar to that. So that's interesting if that's maybe a weight decision as well.
Yeah, you're totally right. I'm not sure I understand all that you said, but in fact, yeah, the Explorer body shape is less heavy than the Gibson shape,
Right.
of course. So it's also why I chose that type of guitars. It's not for the style. It's just not just for the style. It's also because it's less heavy.
Yes, makes sense. Okay. As far as amps, can you tell us anything about amps or any pedals or anything that you tend to use?
Yeah, we have a very simple setup live because we use simulation amps.
Okay.
So we have me and Martin, the other guitarist. We have Fractal Axe FX too.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Simulation amps are very great because they they're allowed to have a really clear tone live, to be able to hear every instrument. They're really great. And we, on our simulation amps, we have custom sounds, but the sounds are based on real amps. Like for me, it's based on PV 6505.
Okay.
I translating in French. Yeah, the PV 6505 was my previous amp when I was playing on a real amp.
Right.
So I have a simulation of that amp, just a little custom. And Martin plays on a simulation of Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, a little bit tweaked, of course. So that's our setup live. It's very simple. No, no pedals, nothing. Everything is simulated.
Okay. Cool. And if somebody wants to pick up A Dream of Wilderness, where's the best place where they can buy it and make sure that the band gets the most amount of money for buying the album?
Thank you, Victor, for asking this question. This is in our store, of course,
Okay.
our online store. We are selling our CDs and vinyls, and we sign them if you wish,
Okay.
for the same price. And yeah, we are also selling T-shirts and hoodies and all that stuff. And everything is on our store. It's the best place to support us.
Okay. And what's the web address?
This is. I'm searching. Just a minute, please. Up. Yep, it's store.aephanemer.com.
Okay. And here's a question that comes in from the chat. Marion's English is very good. Does she sing in French or English?
That is very kind. My English is not very good. Not that good, but thank you much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I sing in French. I sing in English, but also in French. Mostly in English. But in the last album, I wrote a song in a version of one of a song in French as a bonus track. This was the first time.
There you go, Brad. And if people want to keep up with the band and get in touch with you guys, what's the best place?
To keep up with us, every social medias, but Facebook or Instagram are the main places right now.
Okay.
Not very original.
Well, whatever works.
Yeah, you're right.
Excellent. Do you have any plans for touring at any point in time?
Right now, no, because of the pandemic, it's much more hard to get tours. Like every band in the world wants to tour, obviously, and it's really difficult to get a tour. We are working on a tour in France at the end of 2022. We hope it will take place, and we will also do some festivals in 2022. Some gigs in Scandinavia also, maybe a small tour in Finland and some countries around Finland. But yeah, nothing is sure because it's really difficult right now.
Okay. Are you one of the million bands announced for Hellfest?
No. Thank you for putting that on the table. No, we're not. And this year there are two Hellfest.
Yeah.
Like eight or 10 days of Hellfest, and we are not. But yeah, that's the game.
One of 3 bands in the whole world that isn't playing.
Yeah. You're right. There's not much band that do not play in Hellfest this year, but we are among those bands. But we are playing at the Motoculture, which is a smaller festival near Hellfest. And come to the Motoculture. It's awesome, and we play in the Motoculture.
Excellent. Well, I want to thank you for your time today. It was very fun to talk to you, and I'm glad we could straighten everything out after everything got mixed up last week.
Yeah, sorry for that.
No,
I don't know what happened.
No, that was I was speaking to Natalie from the label, and we were talking about you and another band called Wolftooth at the same time.
Okay.
And she scheduled Wolftooth, and there was nothing definitive put in place to speak to you guys. It just came up to talk to you guys, but on my end, I was never told this day at this time. I was just told, can you speak to them? Yes. But nothing was ever said, okay, we've confirmed it. So that's why.
Yeah.
But no big
deal. Okay. We were told the hour and the day of the interview with you, so we were waiting for the link, and it never came. But sorry for that. This sort of things happen. Thank you for. I hope you're not bothered. But thank you for inviting me. I was really glad to be part of your podcast, and it was very nice to chat with you. Thank you much.
Yeah, thank you for your time. So again, if anyone wants to pick up the band's new album, just go to their shop, which will put more money in their pocket than any other place. Marion, thank you once again for your time. And
thank you, Victor.
If you ever want to come back on the show in the future, you're more than welcome to do so.
Thank you much. I will definitely do. Thank you much, and see you next time for next album, maybe.
There you go. Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. There you guys go. That's my interview with Marion from the band, and I want to make sure that I'm pronouncing this correctly. I said Aephanemer, but she said Aephanemer, I believe. I may be butchering that, but I apologize if I am. Jeremy is saying, and of course, while we're on the air, I have my Alexa device going off. Jeremy is saying in the chat, such a nice person. Yeah, it's interesting because I've come in contact with several French bands over the years, but I think this is the first time that I've interviewed anyone from France. Obviously, Gojira is above my pay grade, although I've seen them a lot of times over the years at festivals close to me. But and actually, Dagobah played. I want to say like 5 minutes from my house years ago. And I heard all types of interesting stories from the promoter about that, but nothing I can say on the air. Anyway, thanks guys for joining me today. I saw again Jeremy, Brad, Rob in the chat. Thank you to you guys for always checking the shows out that I do. I will be back tomorrow night for Trivia Tuesday. Again, as I've announced to a lot of people, the last 3 shows of the year that I will be doing on Twitch for Trivia Tuesday will all be band related. So tomorrow's show will focus on Kiss. Next week's is Motley Crue. And then the final show of the year for Trivia Tuesday will be Iron Maiden. Then we will be back on Friday with my Patreons to discuss the state of hard rock and metal and what the future looks like. Is hard rock and metal safe? Who are the flag bearers right now? Who are the younger bands that will be carrying the torch for us moving forward? So we're going to be talking about all that good stuff. As usual, that's Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. in the UK, midnight for those in Europe like myself. Friday going into Saturday. And if you want to be part of the discussion, it's just as easy as hopping on into Patreon for $2 a month. So that is it, folks. Thanks once again for joining me today, and we will see you next time right here on the Signals from Mars live stream, brought to you by the Mars Attacks podcast. See you tomorrow.